Okay, now that we're a little bit more familiar with creating, formatting, and modifying charts, I want to discuss a different type of chart, which is the pie chart. Pie charts are a popular way to show how much individual amounts contribute to a total amount. So for our case, our individual amounts are the total cost of each expense, and our total amount is all the expenses added together. One important thing to remember when inserting pie charts is that they only use one data series, meaning that you cannot have multiple columns of data that have numeric values in them. Pie charts are one-to-one, so we have our row labels for each expense and the percent of the total of each expense. So to create a pie chart, we're going to select our percentages and that's it. And then we can go up to the Insert tab and select the pie chart. I'm going to move these charts around so we have a little bit extra space to work with. Alright, well, first things first, let's take a look at our legend. Right now we just see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We need to change this to show our expense labels. And to do that, we select the chart, and underneath the Chart Design tab, we can click Select Data. And if we look under the horizontal axis labels, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we can edit these by selecting Edit, and then selecting our label range, which are cells B4 through B8. And we can click OK. Now we have our expense labels in our legend. So that's good. And we talked about changing the chart title to give a better meaning of what our chart is trying to display. So I'm going to change the title to percent of total. There we go. Now that we got our title and legend correct, this chart doesn't really give us a lot of info about each expense. We can tell that the cost of goods sold takes up a big portion of the total, but how much? So this is a great opportunity to add some data labels to our chart. So we can come up here to the plus sign and click Data Labels. So now we know that cost of goods sold is 38.22%. Now this chart was pretty simple to create because we already had a percent of total column that calculated the percentages for us. But what if we didn't have that column? Could we still make the pie chart? The short answer is yes, but let me show you just in case you run into this situation. So this time, I'm going to select the totals of each expense, and then I'm going to press the Control key to select our row labels as well. Go up to the Insert tab and insert the pie chart. And since we selected our row labels prior to inserting the chart, our row labels show up in our legend. Now if we add data labels to our chart, let's see what happens. Well, instead of getting a percentage, now I'm getting the actual total value of the expense across the 3 months, which may be fine, but usually when dealing with pie charts, you're talking about percentages. So to change these values to percentages, we need to do some formatting to our data labels. So I'm going to click on one of the data labels within our chart, and then give it a right click and select Format Data Labels. Now over here in this format window, there's a checkbox that says percentage. If we give that a click, now it's showing the value and the percentage. So if we want to get rid of that value, we can deselect value to only show the percentage. Now once again, the percentage is rounded. So if we want to get those decimal places to have a more accurate value, we can go down to the number format, and in this drop down, we can select percentage. And we can tell Excel how many decimal places to include. It automatically includes 2. So instead, cost of goods sold being 38%, it's showing 38.22%, which is a lot more of a precise value. So that's how you get percentages within your pie charts if you don't have a percent of total column. So that was a little taste of creating, modifying, and formatting Excel charts. And you can see that utilizing charts is a very efficient tool to visualize our data graphically, which makes it a lot easier to understand our data and spot comparisons and trends within our information.